Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and it's Gizmo Sunday. Listen, I've got Wide Blue Sounds Silencer to look at today, and Silencer's an interesting and unusual plugin. It hosts VST3 reverbs and allows you to set re-trigger thresholds with transients, MIDI notes, clicking buttons, things like that. What it means is you can use these much bigger reverbs than you ordinarily, would be able to without developing those resonant, washy, obscuring, and sort of difficult to manage kind of like background energies that a long reverb can create. Well, it's a fascinating plugin and just really delivers on transient heavy or percussive material, I found. Just been working with it for the morning, and this is my first look at it, but very interesting stuff. Let's take a look at it. Well, wide blued sound. I've been using Orbit, which is just a terrific sort of contact instrument for quite a while. I don't know how many plugins they do, but here, you can see the image of Silencer there. You can see it's hosting VST reverbs at the top level here, and then they have a couple of proprietary plugins that are part of the ability to create, to work on the sound. You see them over on the left-hand side, and you can load your own VST plugins as well, third-party plugins, although you can't re-trigger them. Now, I'll say another thing too. This cat has done, what's his name? I don't know, has done the best video education I've ever seen. It's 20 minutes long, but when you get done watching this thing, you're like, I know how this works. So, well, listen to this. I got to say, I would never have been able to get this sound this fast. Very sort of big drum sound. Doesn't get in its own way. And then this sequenced bass again with lots of energy, but it doesn't bother at all. Now, here's a piano. Now, the thing about this piano reverb is nice and long, but I can use complicated chords because it's re-triggering the reverb. Jazz chords ordinarily build up too much energy for long reverbs, right? Let's take a look at the drums first. I think that's probably our sharpest move because I think it really is designed for transient heavy material. So I've got battery up here, and here's Silencer. I've loaded Neo-Verb, which is, one of the isotope reverb, and it's just going to sit there kind of at 100%, and Silencer takes care of the rest. Now, this trigger will show me when it's re-triggering the reverb. And I can set that trigger threshold to either be like quite low or just quite high. How often it re-triggers is on hold. I can trigger it via MIDI. I can also use some EQ or filters to determine which frequencies are going to be triggering it. Over here, the reverb send how much audio is going into the reverb, and here the mix. All kick, all reverb. It's a long reverb, and yet when I roll on it, you can see it re-triggering. And so the reverb sound itself doesn't build up and obscure the sound of the individual drums. It's a pretty, simple part, right? I love that. Now I could load other reverbs in there. And if I wished, I could add focus EQ, side chaining, or a channel strippy type thing. Strip is great because check it out. So I can add weight bottom to the reverb. Useful, right? It's kind of that bottom effect. Gate it, add a little bit of air. And it's kind of a, I mean, it's not just EQ, it's a kind of excitement, right? Yeah. And then over here, this is fun. The spread knob allows you to put the reverb over to one side. I probably wouldn't do it with drums because it sends the drums to one side and the reverb to another. But I did do it with the little sequencer part that I had. I actually kind of like this effect, so I'm going to leave it in there for the time being. I'm using Native Instruments Raum on the arpeggiated. It's really a sequenced part. And this is really doing something great. I'll take the reverb out completely. And you can hear what the part sounds like without it. Now that reverb is doing kind of a lot for me in a great way. And I'm using the strip to spread it out a bit. I think that's pretty useful. And then bringing in the piano. And the piano's doing the same thing that we were looking at before. And look at how it triggers. Right now it's not triggering very much, because obviously quiet sounds don't trigger it. And then it restarts. Now where it really shines is in complicated parts where there's lots of transients. Now a long reverb with those kinds of fourth chords, you know, moving around harmonically would just be a mess unless we were able to clear out the reverb and bring it back in again. And that's what this is doing. When I'm confronted with a new technology like this, I have to go, oh, well, what can I do with it? And how's that going to change my arranging? I have to say the Sound Toys Superplate has this ability to set an audio threshold above which the reverb time goes down. It's a gating effect, super useful for ambient music. And, you know, this kind of thing where you completely re-trigger the reverb isn't great for sort of long sustained sounds, obviously. You know, re-triggering accidentally during a long sustained sound sounds just, I'll just say it, bad. But with transient heavy music like this, you can get thick textures on individual hits and sounds that I wouldn't ordinarily be able to work with. Very interesting plugin, and I wanted you guys to know about it kind of right away because it's brand new. Visit Wide Blue Sound's website to find out more about it. And if you have 20 minutes to spare, watch that. It's basically the manual in a video. Well, geez, I hope this has been useful. Like and subscribe, ding the bell. You'll be notified when I do my videos, and I'll see you guys next time.